Hey game changers, welcome to another edition of my weekly trades and analysis. You can also join me every Thursday at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time and trade with me live. This is all of the trades that I did. Well, most of my trades, because sometimes I don't include my Thursday day trading live trades here. I would say take a screenshot and look at them later because I want to trade with you when I do my reviews and analysis. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. I'm sure all of you here for the biggest winner of my week, INDP. It rallied like crazy, but I don't want to use the word crash, but actually crashed on the same day. It was a roller coaster. It was insane. Let's look at it. When I was looking at the candles and the volume right there, it rallied crazy. It opened super high right there from 650 all the way to 11. So this is definitely one of those stocks you do not want to hold. You just want to trade. And let's look at the first candle right here. Well, the volume you see right there, it's all right. But right here, when it was trading back on VWAP, I told myself, hey, I am getting on this train no matter what. This is where everybody is getting. VWAP, that's my support right there. I got in, rallied, right there, beautiful volume right there. Oh, I was super happy when I was looking at this. It was beautiful. Look at it. It kept on going higher and higher. After a while, actually right here, the momentum did not stop. Note, all of my candles, they are 30 seconds. So right here, I thought to myself, hey, let's add more. Then I got in right here. I added more, $17.19. I added more. So the moment I got in, it halted. Then I was worried. After the halt, it went up more and my trailing stop moved with that momentum right there. But then, bam, it smashed back down to $16. So I was taken out and I was so happy because just because of this one trade, I was twice my daily profit. All right, that's INDP. And on the same day, I have Apple. This is where I went short. You see that? The 9 EMA went just right below 20 EMA. And I was a little bit adventurous because the volume was okay, but I went short right here. Then it went, I survived that because I had a pretty tight trading stop actually, but I survived this one. Then it went more around 948. This is where I was taken out by my trailing stop. Actually, it went down even more, but I got a little bit profit and I was really happy. And in my INDP that day, I was on fire. So I only had 2 trades on this day and it was beautiful. The next trade is next day, September 16th, after my big win. Of course, I was looking at INDP. These very volatile and huge movers, they are not going to stop just one day. So the second day, I was looking at it. It opened pretty high. The momentum was there. I'm sure buyers, they are trying to push this higher. Then I got in immediately. It went, then it got rejected. Right here, I averaged down. So my average price is $14.04 right there. And it was kind of losing momentum right there. I didn't really feel comfortable until this one right here, it moved up. And I was like, whoa, yeah, it's going. Then it got rejected. That's the place I was taken out by my trading stop. I always have a trading stop to protect myself. And I lost about 9 cents. So it was a beautiful trade. It was a losing trade, but it was a beautiful trade. It went all the way back to $11 as of now. So it was a losing trade, but I consider that as a winning trade. My next trade is NIO. I see this bearish candle right there with a lot of volume right there, and it got rejected. And after 2 minutes, 9 EMA goes above 21 EMA, but I was also worried about this VWAP right there working as a resistance. So it was a small position. So I got in around 10:01 right here, and I wanted to try. I think it's going to rally because even after this huge bearish candle with that volume, it didn't go down much. So I think it's going to rebound. I set my trailing stop just right below $36.70 right there. it was sort of trading sideways, and I just let it run, and I didn't really look at it because I had a smaller size for my Neo, and it went all the way non-stop right here, and then it rallied back. So wow, my stop wasn't perfect, but I got taken out at 106 right there. You see that? But I was okay. And this day on yesterday, September 16th, it was a losing day. I was sort of flat because I had a good Uber trade, and it was a winning trade. Neo was kind of sad, but it happens. The next trade is Palantir, and I got in at 9:36. This is evening star, and I was a little bit worried that it was going to trade down because of the volume and how much it rallied for the past 5 minutes. But I was still bullish on Palantir, and I was long. I survived this candle right here because I had my trading stop all the way right here. Then it rallied a little bit, but it was trading sideways. So after all that 20 minutes, I was a little bit worried. And besides this huge volume right there, but it didn't go more. So eventually I got out at 9:52. A half size, 9:52 right there. Then this one, I got out 30 seconds later because I just lost confidence with this Palantir. So it was a very, very small loss. It was good. Next trade is Uber. This is my winning trade yesterday. And when I saw this volume right there, 9 EMA goes above 21 EMA. And right here, this is my VWAP support. And it had this huge candle. And I was long for sure. And my stop was all the way below here. It's sort of like fighting, going up and down for a while, but eventually it rallied more right here. I was really happy with this one. It kind of went back down, but I still survived that one. And eventually my trailing stop took me out at 11:20, that it dropped this much. And eventually, Uber was my winning trade. And it was okay. For that day, I was a little bit on the green side because my previous 3 trades, they were losers. And only this one is my winner. But it was still okay. It was a very good week. The next trade is AAL. And it was a bad trade, but I still had my reasons. So right here, obviously right there, it's kind of directionless, but I was taking a guess right there. I went short half size right here when it made this breakout. At 10:01, I still wanted to short. Then I went in another half. Another minute later, it pushed all the way up right there. But 9 EMA goes below 21 EMA, gave me a little bit of confidence, but I was still a little bit scared. At 10:03, when the candles moved back, I thought, hey, I don't think this is going. Let me just get out of there. I made money on AAL. But because I wasn't confident with this one, because I wasn't sure if this was a support or it was a resistance, even though it gave me this faster EMA going below the slower 21 EMA, but I wasn't confident. But then actually it went. So it was not a good trade because my reasons, they weren't enough for me to get out right there, but I still got out because I lost confidence. The next trade is ATER. It wasn't a good trade either. And I got in and got out too quickly. So I still had reasons, obviously, but I was a little scared because it opened super high right there. You can see this wick, top wick, it was longer. So I wasn't sure if sellers were coming in because it kind of sort of indicates, telling me that, hey, sellers trying to push this down. But somehow I longed this. It went right there. But again, at the end, sellers still trying to come down. And I saw the volume right there, more than 2 million. I was really, really scared. Then I got out, but then it rallied. You see this volume, I would be scared. I could have taken like a half off and let it run for a little bit, but I was really scared of this volume right there. My reaction was right. After this, the volume, people, usually they look at the volume and the candles, and then, the sellers try to take profit. So I was just a little bit too quick, but it was still a winning trade right there. And let's talk about FCEL. When I was trading FCEL, it was looking like this. So what would you do right here? You see the volume, very healthy. I was waiting for it to approach the VWAP right there. So my strategy was that if it comes back to VWAP, I'm going to buy on VWAP. But if it doesn't touch VWAP, that means buyers, they were trying to get in. And they couldn't wait, they just want to go. I got in really, really quickly because I knew that people, they didn't want to wait. It was rallying rallying nicely. I was just letting it run, and I had a trailing stop all the way down here until 9:54 right there. I didn't like this one right there because of the volume, and I got out right there. It was beautiful and a lot of profit for that trade right here. The next trade is Wells Fargo. Right here, when you see a chart like this, are you scared? I am a little bit scared, definitely. But I thought, hey, Wells Fargo doesn't move that much. But today, it has this momentum. Why not, right? So I got in. It was a long position, obviously. So I got in pretty late. So I was looking at this very, very closely. Then it went right after. When I see something like this right there, it's sort of not making a new high. I was a little bit worried right there. But I gave myself more rope. I had a pretty big trading stop. Then I survived all of this, actually. And then it went back up a little bit more. That's the time when I got even more worried. It made this 3 candles, but didn't break. Basically, it's a fake breakout right there. It didn't really have a real breakout. This red one right there, that's when I took myself out because I lost confidence. It's not making a new high. It was an interesting winning trade. A small win, but it was a winning trade. So that's a Wells Fargo right there. Right here, AFRM. Actually, it didn't look like this in the beginning. It was green, it was bullish, and it opened super high. So it was a 30-second trade. So the price I got in was $108.81, and the price I got out 30 seconds later, it was $109.36. So it was a winning trade. For this candle right there, I was long this, but it got rejected really fast. So I just took myself out really quickly and made a small profit. Then it didn't look very good after that. So it was a winning trade for AFRM, very quick. The next trade is ISEE, and this was a winning trade as well. And obviously, when you see this, what do? Do you long or short? Of course, you long, right? Volume, nice, candle, bullish. I got in right here. But it was a full size, and I was a little bit scared because it opened this high, and I didn't know what would happen. It could crash immediately. And then it was sort of like grinding higher, but kind of still very, very scary right there. I was waiting for something very rapid to go up more, but didn't happen. So eventually, actually, I didn't wait for that long. I took myself out around 9:37, which is right here. And it was just not making a new high. And after that, I saw this volume. Obviously, I would be scared. So it was a quick win for ISEE. The next trade is VICI. It's a very interesting trade. You guys are going to see this. When I was looking at this, the chart looked like this, and obviously when you see volume like that and the bullish candles like that, what do? You take a shot, right? You go long. It was a small position, and I was afraid that the steam had already run out, so I gave myself like a small position, and also because my trading stop is like 1%, that's kind of like a lot, so it was a small position. It went all the way right there, 1.5%. Yeah, it was kind of nice, right? It was kind of nice. But my trading stop was also like going up right there. And eventually, I was taken out by this. But, I was still protected. Actually, it went down more. I'm happy that I was protected by my trading stop. It should have been a winning trade, but it was a losing trade, but it was okay. All right, game changers. That's all of the analysis this week. And if you like what you see here, if you learn something, and if you want to trade with me, come every Thursday at 9:15. I'm going to live day trade with all of you, okay? Remember to like and subscribe. This is Grant. Trade and invest responsibly.